Have you ever stood at the edge of a cliff, heart pounding, staring into the vast unknown, and wondered, what on earth is coming next? That moment, so raw, so uncertain, is something we've all faced. It's like being caught in a space between where we've been and where we're going, with no clear path ahead. The future feels like a thick fog, mysterious and heavy, pressing down on our hearts. But here's the truth that never changes. God already knows what's waiting for you on the other side. Life doesn't come with a detailed roadmap or GPS instructions. Instead, we find ourselves walking through seasons where the destination is hidden and the next step feels like a leap into the dark. That uncertainty, it can be unsettling, sometimes even paralyzing. We waste so much time trying to guess what's coming next, plotting every move, trying desperately to control our futures. But here's something powerful I want you to remember today. You don't have to have it all figured out. It's absolutely okay to not know all the answers. It's okay to step forward into the unknown with nothing but faith that God's got your back. Why do we expend so much energy worrying about the future, trying to hold tight to control, when there's something much bigger at work? Here's a life-changing fact. God isn't surprised by your uncertainty. No matter how many twists and turns life throws your way, He's never caught off guard. The unknown isn't a place to fear. Once you truly understand this, it becomes a stage where God's strength, wisdom, and perfect timing shine through like a beacon in the dark. Think back to your own journey. How many times has God led you through a valley you couldn't understand at the moment, only for you to look back later and realize, that was exactly what I needed? When you don't know what's next, remember this: God does. The absolute best thing you can do in those moments is trust that He's already out in front, clearing the way for you. Here's something powerful to hold on to. The unknown isn't your enemy. So often, we treat uncertainty like a villain that threatens our peace, happiness, and success. But what if I told you the very thing you fear most, the unknown, is actually the canvas on which God paints His greatest masterpieces? We're all wired to crave certainty. We want to peek around the corner, hold the plan in our hands, and feel in control. But God's way, it's different. He doesn't need you to have all the answers up front. What He asks for is trust. Trust in the moments when you can't see the whole picture. It's precisely in those moments of uncertainty that we grow stronger. Our faith stretches until it's refined and unbreakable. When you let go of your need to control every detail and embrace the mystery ahead, you open the door for God to move in ways you never imagined. He specializes in the unknown. He doesn't need you to see the entire staircase. He just needs you to take the next step, even when it's scary. Remember the story of Abraham. He stepped out into the unknown, not knowing where the road would lead, but trusting God's promise with his whole heart. That's the kind of faith that transforms uncertainty into an adventure filled with hope and divine purpose. So today, if you're standing on that cliff, heart pounding, wondering what's next, take a deep breath. You're not alone. God already knows the path, and He's leading you every step of the way. Trust Him, keep moving forward, and watch how the unknown becomes your greatest blessing. Building on the powerful reminder that God leads us through the unknown, let's dive deeper into what that journey looks like in real life. Imagine being told to leave behind everything familiar, your family, your home, your sense of security, and to set out for a land you have never even seen before. This was exactly what God asked Abraham to do. Can you picture the whirlwind of emotions swirling in Abraham's heart? The uncertainty must have been overwhelming, yet Abraham didn't hesitate. He stepped forward, not because he could see the road ahead, but because he trusted the one who was guiding him. And here's the incredible truth: God never let Abraham down. That unknown land, once a source of fear, became the very foundation for God's promises to be fulfilled. The unfamiliar path transformed into a stepping stone, leading to blessings beyond imagination. So today, don't shy away from uncertainty. Embrace it. Because in that place of, God is waiting, ready to reveal Himself in ways that can completely transform your life. Step into the unknown with confidence, knowing that the one who holds your future is never lost or confused. Maybe right now, you feel like your life is a puzzle scattered with missing pieces. You can't see the full picture, and that can feel frustrating, even overwhelming. But here's a powerful truth for you. God has a plan for your life, one far greater than anything you could ever dream or design for yourself. It's easy to get caught up in the noise all around us, the deadlines, the pressures, the expectations from others, and to start believing that if you don't have everything figured out right this moment, you've somehow failed. But trusting in God's plan means resting in the knowledge that He has already mapped out your future, even when it's invisible to you. The reality is, God's plan doesn't demand your understanding. It requires your obedience. We want to know every detail, every twist and turn. But God calls us to take just one step at a time, in faith, even when the path isn't clear. Think about Joseph from the Bible. His life was anything but easy. Betrayal, imprisonment, heartbreak. Yet throughout every challenge, God was quietly weaving a plan Joseph couldn't see at the time. Only when the right moment came could Joseph look back and recognize the purpose behind his pain and the meaning hidden within his struggles. So remember, your life isn't a random series of events. God has already written your story, and He's guiding you through every chapter. Trust that even when things don't make sense right now, His plan is unfolding perfectly, and it's leading you to greater things than you ever imagined. How many times have you felt lost only to later discover that those moments were actually the turning points in your life? Continuing from where we left off, it's natural to ask, how many times have you found yourself wondering, why is this happening right now? Why am I still waiting? We often wrestle with God's timing because it rarely aligns with our own. We crave instant answers and immediate progress. We want breakthroughs now, not later. But here's a truth that might surprise you. God operates on a timetable completely different from ours, and His timing is always perfect. In our impatience, we rush through life, desperate to reach the next stage, the next level, the next big victory. But God's timing isn't hurried. It's deliberate, precise, and full of purpose. Every delay, every pause, every season of waiting is intentional. What looks like a setback, it could very well be God's way of preparing you for something far greater than you ever imagined. Take the story of David, for example. When God anointed him as king, David didn't immediately claim the throne. Instead, he spent years on the run, hiding, fighting battles, and learning to trust God in ways he never expected. That waiting period wasn't a punishment, it was preparation. God was shaping his character, strengthening his faith, and building the resilience he needed to lead a nation. So if you find yourself waiting today for a breakthrough, a new opportunity, or a change, remember this: God's delay is not a denial. It's a sign He's at work behind the scenes, getting you ready for the next chapter of your life. You are exactly where you need to be. And when the time is right, God will open doors no one can shut. Trust in His perfect timing, because God is never late. He is always exactly on time. How often do we pray, asking God for something specific, convinced that we know exactly what we need? Maybe it's a job, a relationship, financial stability, or healing. We lay out our requests clearly, hoping God will grant us exactly what we've asked for. But what happens when God's answer isn't what we expect? Or when He says, "Not yet"? Here's the truth. God knows your needs better than you do. He sees beyond what we can perceive. He understands what we truly need in ways that surpass our own understanding. Sometimes we think we know what's best, but God, in His infinite wisdom, knows what is truly right for us and when we need it. In the Bible, Jesus tells us that if human parents know how to give good gifts to their children, how much more will our Heavenly Father give us what we truly need? But here's the catch. God gives us what we need, not always what we want. It's easy to get caught up desiring things that seem fulfilling in the moment, but might not be best for our growth or future. Consider the Apostle Paul. He asked God to remove the thorn in the flesh that troubled him. Paul's request was clear, but God's answer was not what he expected. Sometimes God allows certain challenges to stay in our lives, not to harm us, but to teach us, to strengthen us, and to draw us closer to Him. So when you don't get what you want right away, or when the answer is different from your expectation, remember, God's wisdom far exceeds our own. His timing is perfect, and His plans for you are always good. Picking up where we left off, let's talk about something truly profound from the story of Apostle Paul. Paul faced a painful struggle, a thorn in the flesh that caused him immense discomfort and difficulty. Yet when he pleaded with God to remove it, God's response wasn't what Paul expected. Instead of taking the pain away, God said, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." 2 Corinthians 12:9. Think about that for a moment. What Paul thought was his greatest need, the removal of his suffering, wasn't actually what he needed most. What God wanted was for Paul to experience his strength in the midst of his weakness. It's a reminder that sometimes the things we beg God to change or take away are actually opportunities for His power to shine through in ways we never imagined. So, when it feels like God isn't answering your prayers the way you hoped or expected, hold on to this truth. God knows exactly what you need. Sometimes what seems like denial or delay is actually divine protection. Trust that God sees your life from an eternal perspective. He understands what will truly benefit you, not just what you desire in the moment. God's provision always aligns perfectly with your purpose. He will give you exactly what you need, and at exactly the right time. When you're in a season of uncertainty, it's easy to feel stuck, like nothing is happening at all. You might be looking around, wondering why your breakthrough hasn't arrived yet, why your prayers seem unanswered, or why progress is slower than you expected. But here's the powerful truth. God is preparing you for blessings that you can't even imagine yet. What looks like waiting is actually divine preparation. God never wastes a single season of your life. Every moment of waiting, every challenge, every setback is part of His perfect plan to get you ready for what's next. You may not see the purpose right now, but every step is making room for the incredible blessings God has planned for you. Consider the Israelites wandering in the desert for 40 years. It wasn't because God forgot them or abandoned His promises. No, it was because He was preparing them to enter the promised land. That desert season, though harsh and difficult, was necessary for their faith to grow, for them to learn to rely on God fully, and for them to be equipped to handle the blessings ahead. Your blessings might be just around the corner, but God will only release them when you're truly ready to steward them well. God doesn't simply hand over blessings, He prepares you for them first. Sometimes that means He's strengthening your character, teaching you patience, or refining your heart before opening the door to your next season. The unseen blessings are already being shaped in your life, even if you can't see them yet. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust the One who holds your future in His hands. Picking up from where we left off, remember, even when you're walking through the unknown, God is quietly building something incredible inside of you. So don't lose heart during the waiting. Though it might feel like nothing is happening, God is at work in ways you can't see. He's shaping your future even when you don't feel it. And when the time is right, He will pour out blessings that far exceed anything you could have imagined. Keep trusting. Keep growing. Your preparation right now is positioning you perfectly for the breakthrough that's coming. There's something truly powerful that happens when we choose faith over fear. Fear wants to freeze you in place. It wants to make you question your future, doubt your purpose, and second-guess every single decision you make. Fear will whisper lies, that the unknown is too risky, too dangerous, and that you aren't equipped for what's ahead. But faith does something different. Faith doesn't just acknowledge the unknown, it steps boldly into it with confidence, knowing full well that God is already there, waiting to guide you. Let's be honest. Fear is natural. It's human to be afraid of what we can't see and to feel anxious about what's beyond our control. But here's the crucial difference. Fear is a liar. It tells you that you're not enough, that you'll never make it, and that the challenges ahead are too big for you. Faith, on the other hand, reminds you of the truth. God is more than enough. He has already gone before you, paving the way, and with His strength, you can do all things. Think about Peter walking on water. He stepped out of the boat in the middle of a storm, a situation that looked impossible. For a moment, his faith kept him afloat, but the moment he let fear take over, he began to sink. Faith is what keeps you steady on the waves. Fear is what pulls you under. You don't have to know every step ahead. What you need is the courage to take the next step in faith, trusting that God is right there with you, even in the unknown. Fear will try to convince you that you're not ready, that you don't have what it takes. But faith shouts back with, God, you are more than enough for what's next. The fear of the unknown can hold you hostage, keeping you stuck. But faith in the one who holds your future will propel you forward, even when the full picture is hidden. So today, make a choice. Choose faith over fear. Step into the unknown with confidence, knowing God is already out ahead, preparing the way. Don't let fear dictate your path. Let faith lead you to the breakthrough waiting just beyond the horizon. Building on everything we've explored about faith, timing, and trust, there are moments in life when uncertainty feels overwhelming. You might find yourself staring at your current situation, wondering if you're truly on the right path. Or worse, if you've missed your chance altogether. That feeling of being lost when the road ahead looks unclear is incredibly common. But today, let me remind you of something powerful. Your purpose is secure in God's hands. You are not here by accident. God did not create you for random circumstances or aimless wandering. From the very beginning, He knew you intimately. Your purpose, your destiny, and the unique gifts and talents He carefully placed inside you. Even when it feels like nothing is falling into place, your purpose is unfolding perfectly according to God's divine plan. Think about Esther, an ordinary girl caught in an extraordinary situation. She faced fears and challenges that would have seemed impossible to overcome. Yet, amid the chaos, God had a clear purpose for her, to save her people. Esther didn't understand her purpose at first, but when the moment came, it was revealed to her, and she rose with courage and strength. Her purpose was secure, even when she couldn't fully see it. Your purpose is secure too. It doesn't depend on your current circumstances, your past mistakes, or the doubts that creep into your mind. It is founded on the unshakable truth that God has already prepared good works for you to do, Ephesians 2:10. You might not know every step ahead, but trust this. The steps you take today are guiding you toward the fulfillment of the purpose God has crafted just for you. Don't let confusion, setbacks, or delays make you believe your purpose is lost or postponed. God's plan for you is immovable. He is working behind the scenes, arranging events, opening doors, aligning opportunities, to bring you to the place where your purpose will shine fully. Trust this in every season of uncertainty. You are exactly where you need to be. The work you are doing, even in the waiting, is part of the greater purpose God has for your life. Nothing and no one can take away the destiny He has ordained for you. Now let's talk about change, a word that often stirs up fear and hesitation. The thought of stepping into something new, something unknown, can feel intimidating. We humans are creatures of habit. When faced with change, our first instinct is often to resist. Change means leaving comfort zones, facing uncertainty, and stepping into the unfamiliar. But what if change is exactly the doorway to your purpose? What if the unknown is where God's greatest blessings and breakthroughs lie? When life feels comfortable, It's only natural to resist change, but I want you to hear this clearly today. Change is not your enemy. It's the catalyst for your growth. God doesn't allow change just to shake things up or make life difficult. He uses it intentionally to prepare you for greater things ahead. When God shifts your situation, it's not a sign that something has gone wrong. Instead, it's a powerful signal that something new and something better is just over the horizon. You might not see it yet, but God knows exactly what He's doing. That change you're afraid of? Often, it's exactly what you need to step into your next level. Look back again at Abraham. When God called him to leave everything familiar and journey into an unknown land, Abraham didn't have all the details. He didn't know exactly where he was going or what awaited him, but he trusted God was leading him towards something greater. Change was his doorway to the promise. When you face change, the natural temptation is to cling tightly to what's familiar, to hold on to what feels safe. But God often calls us to step into the unknown, because that's where faith grows. That's where His power is revealed. And that's where fresh opportunities and blessings begin to unfold. Don't be afraid to release the old season. The new season will bring new strength, new wisdom, and new blessings. Yes, change can be uncomfortable, sometimes even painful. But if you trust God's leading, you can rest assured He never brings you somewhere without a purpose. So embrace the change. Step out boldly in faith, knowing that God is using this very moment to position you for something far greater than you can imagine. Don't fear what's next. God is already there, waiting for you. So many of us get trapped in the lie that our current circumstances define our future. We look at where we are right now, whether it's a struggle, a setback, or a season of waiting, and we start to believe this is all life will ever be. But hear me clearly today. Your present does not define your future. Just because you're facing challenges now doesn't mean that's your permanent story. Just because today is tough doesn't mean you're stuck there forever. God specializes in turning things around. God specializes in taking situations that seem hopeless and transforming them into something beyond our wildest imagination. Take Joseph's story, for example. Betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. His circumstances looked utterly bleak. But Joseph didn't stay trapped there. He trusted that his current hardships were not the final chapter. And what happened? God used those very trials to prepare him for greatness. Joseph went from the prison cell to the palace throne, becoming the instrument through which God saved an entire nation. His present didn't define his future. God did. So whatever you're facing right now, remember this: your future is firmly in God's hands. Your current circumstances may scream one story, but God's plan tells a far greater one. You are not stuck. You are being positioned, prepared, and shaped for the incredible purpose God has designed just for you. Your present reality, it's just the beginning, not the end. Don't let where you are today fool you into thinking that's where you'll always be. God is moving you forward, and your present is only a chapter in a much bigger story. Keep pressing forward, because the best is yet to come. Your future is brighter than you realize, and God is already working behind the scenes to lead you into a place overflowing with abundance, peace, and purpose. Don't let today's struggles convince you your future is limited. Your future is limitless with God. In a world that demands instant results and quick fixes, perseverance is often overlooked. But perseverance is the secret key to unlocking what God has in store for you next. It's easy to be passionate and committed when things are going well, but real growth, real breakthroughs happen when you push through, even when it feels like you're stuck. Even when it seems like nothing is happening. God cares not just about where you end up, but about who you become along the way. Every step you take, even when it feels like you're standing still, is part of His perfect plan. Perseverance isn't just about enduring the hard times. It's about allowing God to refine you through the waiting, the struggle, and the process. Look at the Apostle Paul. His journey was anything but smooth. He was shipwrecked, imprisoned, beaten, and mocked. Yet, he persevered. Why? Because he knew God was at work in him and through him, even in the darkest moments. Paul's perseverance led to a powerful ministry that reached the ends of the earth. If he had given up halfway, we wouldn't have the letters, encouragement, and teachings that continue to inspire millions today. Perseverance means moving forward even when the road is rough. It means not giving up when promises seem distant or when the struggles feel overwhelming. Is still at work in your life, even when you can't see it. Perseverance means trusting that God is not finished with you yet. He's still shaping you, still preparing you for the breakthrough that's coming. So when you feel like giving up, when the weight of the journey feels too heavy to bear, remind yourself, your perseverance will bear fruit. God is working behind the scenes, and every step of faith you take is positioning you for the future He's promised. Keep going, keep trusting, because the reward for perseverance is always greater than the sacrifice. God honors those who refuse to give up. We live in a world that constantly tells us to take control, to plan every detail, to manage every outcome. We believe that if we hold tightly to the reins of our lives, we can steer our future exactly where we want it to go. But here's a truth that might feel uncomfortable. True peace comes only when you let go of control and trust God to lead. You were never meant to carry the heavy burden of control alone. It's exhausting, overwhelming, and ultimately leads to frustration. We may think we're in control, but the reality is we're not. Life happens, things change, doors close, new paths open unexpectedly. Look at Abraham's story once again. God called him to leave behind everything familiar and step into the unknown. Abraham didn't have a map, a clear plan, or any guarantees about what awaited him, but what he did have was trust. He released his own need to control the outcome and chose to follow God's lead. In that act of surrender, Abraham stepped into the greatest blessings of his life. When you surrender control, you open yourself to God's perfect will, His perfect timing, and His perfect plan. Control gives us a false sense of security. It makes us feel safe, but God's security is far greater than anything we can create for ourselves. He holds your future, your path, and your destiny firmly in His hands. When you let go and trust Him, you are saying, God, I believe you know what's best for me, even when I can't see it. So today, release the need to control. Surrender your plans, your fears, your anxieties. Trust that God will guide you exactly where you need to go. Let go of the weight that isn't yours to carry, and watch how God begins to work miracles in your life in ways you never expected. God works in ways you could never have orchestrated on your own. He's got it all under control. All you need to do is follow His lead. Have you ever found yourself dreaming big, thinking about the future and imagining the best life could offer? Yet, despite our best ideas, God's plans for us are always bigger, grander, and more incredible than anything we can imagine. Sometimes we get so focused on our own dreams that we forget just how vast God's vision is for our lives. Here's the truth. Our dreams are limited by our experiences, our understanding, and our vision. But God sees the whole picture. He knows exactly what you need, what you can handle, and what will bring glory to His name through your life. What seems impossible to us is nothing for God. He can do more in a single moment than we could accomplish in a lifetime of trying. Think again about Joseph's story. As a young boy, Joseph had big dreams of his family bowing to him. But God's plans for Joseph were even bigger than his own imagination. What Joseph didn't realize then was that God was preparing him to save a nation and to become second in command over Egypt. Joseph's dreams were just the beginning of what God had in store. God's purpose for Joseph was far greater than anything Joseph could have imagined. In the same way, your plans might feel big to you, but God's plans are immeasurably greater. He has a purpose for you that goes beyond your comprehension. The Bible says in Ephesians 3:20, "Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us." If you could see the incredible future God has already prepared for you, it would blow your mind. You may not understand it now, but trust that God is leading you to places you've never dreamed of, places that will draw you closer to him and fulfill his greater purpose for your life. So, when you find yourself dreaming big, remember this: God is dreaming even bigger for you. His plans go beyond anything you could ever ask or imagine. Trust him, surrender your plans, and know that the best is yet to come. One of the greatest fears we face in life is the fear of being alone, especially when we're walking through unfamiliar or uncertain times. It's easy to feel like you're on your own, navigating the unknown with no one to turn to, no one to support you. But hear me clearly today. You are never alone in the unknown. God promises in his word that he will never leave you or forsake you. That means in every moment of uncertainty, every season of waiting, and every step you take toward the future, you are not alone. God is with you every step of the way. Think about the story of Moses. When God called Moses to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, an overwhelming, dangerous task, Moses must have felt alone and afraid. Yet God didn't abandon him. God promised to be with Moses, guiding him, strengthening him, and walking beside him through every challenge. Lead you, to protect you, and to bring you safely through every trial. Just like Moses, who once felt overwhelmed and unqualified to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, you might sometimes doubt your own strength or question if you're prepared for what lies ahead. But remember, God didn't leave Moses alone in that moment. He said, "I will be with you," Exodus 3:12. And he is saying the same to you today. When you're in the wilderness, when the path forward looks impossible, God is right there, beside you, guiding, providing, and leading you toward your promised land. You are never abandoned. You are never left to navigate life's unknowns on your own. So, when loneliness creeps in, when fear tries to convince you that you're walking this journey alone, hold tight to this truth. God is with you. His love surrounds you. His strength uplifts you. His guidance lights your way. Lean into his presence. Trust that he has already gone ahead, preparing the way, and that he will continue to walk with you through every step of your journey. Life's uncertainty can shake us, but hope is the anchor that steadies our souls in life's storms. The greatest source of hope you have is found in God's promises. God's promises don't depend on your current situation. They are unshaken by life's ups and downs. They are eternal, unchanging, and powerful. When you anchor your hope in his promises, you are connected to something far greater than your fleeting feelings or circumstances. You are anchored to God's unchanging truth. The Bible is filled with stories of people who held onto God's promises when everything seemed hopeless. Abraham and Sarah waited years for a child. Noah trusted God's word when the flood seemed unimaginable. David was anointed king long before he sat on the throne. Each faced uncertainty, but they clung to God's promises, knowing he is faithful. Take the Israelites as another example. Enslaved in Egypt, oppressed and forgotten by many, their situation looked hopeless. Yet God's promise of deliverance was stronger than their situation looked hopeless. Yet God's promise of deliverance was stronger than their circumstances. He parted the Red Sea, led them through the wilderness, and brought them into the land he promised. Today, you may not see the way forward. You may feel stuck in a waiting season, unsure of your next step. But God's promises remain true. He promises to never leave you, to guide you, and to bring you safely through. Guide you, provide for you, and give you a future filled with hope. No matter how difficult your circumstances may seem, remember this: God is faithful to fulfill his promises. So whatever you're facing today, hold on to hope. Hope in God's promises isn't wishful thinking. It's a confident expectation that what God has spoken over your life will come to pass. He knows exactly what's next for you, and He is faithful to bring it to fruition. Your future is secure in His hands. Keep your hope anchored in His promises, because the best is yet to come. Now, I want you to pause for a moment and think about where you are in life right now. Maybe you're facing uncertainty, standing at a crossroads, or simply in a season of waiting. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, like you're walking blind, unsure of what the future holds. But here's a reminder that will change your perspective today. God knows exactly what's next for you. You might not have all the answers, and that's okay. You have something better, a God who sees the end from the beginning, a God whose plans are greater than your own, a God who is walking with you, guiding you, and preparing you for what's to come. When life feels uncertain, remember this: God is working behind the scenes. You are not alone in the unknown. You are not left to figure it all out by yourself. His timing is perfect. His plans are flawless, and His love for you is unshakable. Every challenge you face, every setback, every season of waiting is not a sign that God has forgotten you. It's a sign that He is preparing you for something greater. He's refining you, strengthening your faith, and positioning you for the blessings He has in store. You may not see it now, but God is working in ways you cannot yet understand. So, let go of fear. Let go of doubt. Trust that God's promises are true. You are on a journey, and though you may not know every step ahead, you can rest assured that God does. His plans for you are bigger than you can imagine. The best is yet to come. Keep walking in faith, even when you can't see the way forward. God knows what's next for you. His plans for your life are filled with purpose, peace, and a future brighter than you can begin to comprehend. In conclusion, no matter where you are today, trust that your tomorrow is in God's hands. He knows what's next for you. And when you put your trust in Him, He will lead you to places you never dreamed possible. Keep faith, keep hope, and know that your future is secure in His hands. Let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to walk through storms unshaken, while others are overwhelmed by the slightest breeze? The difference isn't luck or strength alone. It's where they place their hope and trust. When life throws you curveballs and everything feels uncertain, it's easy to slip into fear and doubt. But those who walk confidently through the unknown have discovered a powerful secret. Their hope is anchored in God's promises, not in their circumstances. Imagine a ship caught in a violent storm at sea. Without an anchor, it would be tossed, battered, and lost. But with an anchor firmly planted deep beneath the waves, the ship stays steady no matter how fierce the storm. Your hope in God is that anchor. No matter how stormy life gets, your soul can remain steady when it's anchored in the unchanging truth of God's word. But here's the challenge. Hope isn't always easy to hold on to. Sometimes the winds of doubt howl so loudly that it feels impossible to keep faith alive. When you're in that place, it's okay to be honest with God about your fears. Pour out your heart. Cry out for help. But don't stop trusting. God sees every tear. He hears every prayer. He is faithful to meet you right where you are, sometimes even before you ask. Some of the most remarkable stories of faith didn't begin with certainty. They began with ordinary people facing impossible odds, standing at the edge of their own understanding and choosing to trust anyway. Look at Hannah, who desperately prayed for a child for years. She felt forgotten and broken, yet she held tightly to God's promise. When her prayers were finally answered, she dedicated her son Samuel back to God's service, a proof that her faith had been well placed. Or think about Daniel, thrown into a den of lions simply because he refused to stop trusting God. The situation looked hopeless, but his unwavering faith turned what seemed like a death sentence into a miracle. These stories aren't just ancient history. They are reminders that God's faithfulness transcends time and circumstances, and it's the same God who walks with you today. So what does this mean for you right now as you face your own unknowns? It means you don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to see the entire staircase to take the first step. Your uncertainty isn't a dead end, it's a doorway. Every time you choose faith over fear, every moment you lean on God instead of your own strength, you're moving forward. You're stepping closer to the incredible plans He has for you. Maybe you're worried about your career, a relationship, your health, or your future. Maybe the path ahead feels unclear or too difficult. But God's plans for you are good. They are filled with hope and purpose. And here's the beautiful thing. God doesn't just see the destination. He walks with you every step of the way, even in the waiting seasons. Even in moments of doubt, God is working. He's shaping your character, preparing you for what's next. What feels like delay is often divine preparation. And sometimes, what you see as failure or setback is actually God redirecting you to a better path. Have you ever noticed how a seed must be buried in the dark soil before it can sprout and grow into a strong tree? That darkness is necessary for growth. Similarly, your current struggles and seasons of uncertainty are the soil where your faith is being rooted deep. So don't give up. Keep holding on, keep trusting, and keep moving, even if it's just one small step at a time. Because your breakthrough, your promised land, your moment of victory is coming, and it's going to be more beautiful than you ever imagined. Let's talk about courage for a moment. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward despite fear. It's that quiet voice inside you that says, I can't see the whole path, but I trust the one who does. Choosing courage means choosing faith over fear every single day. It means waking up and deciding that no matter what the day brings, you will trust God's plan. It's not always easy, it won't always be comfortable, but courage is what transforms lives. So how do you cultivate this courage? Start by surrounding yourself with God's truth every day. Fill your mind with scripture that reminds you who God is and what He promises. Speak life over your future. Declare that you are not alone. Declare that God's plans for you are good and full of hope. Remember, faith grows when it's fed. Spend time in prayer. Meditate on God's promises, and let your hope be renewed each morning. And here's a little secret. God often speaks through ordinary moments. A kind word from a friend, a song that touches your heart, a quiet moment of peace in the chaos. Be open to these moments. They are reminders that God is near, that He cares, and that He's working behind the scenes. So as you continue on this journey, keep your eyes fixed on the promise. Your future is bright. Your story is far from over. God is writing a beautiful chapter that you can't yet see. Hold on to hope, hold on to faith, and know this, the best is yet to come. Now, before we wrap up, I want to challenge you and encourage you to take one simple but powerful step today. Wherever you are in your journey, no matter how uncertain or overwhelming things may feel, choose faith over fear. Choose to believe that God's plans for you are bigger and better than anything you can imagine. Even if you can't see the whole path, take the next step forward with confidence, knowing that God is right there beside you, guiding every move. If you're standing at a crossroads, unsure which way to go, take a moment right now. Pause, breathe, and invite God into your decision. Ask Him for clarity, peace, and strength to move forward. And remember, sometimes the bravest thing you can do is simply trust Him with what you don't yet understand. And here's something practical. Start by writing down one promise from God's Word that speaks to your heart. Memorize it. Meditate on it daily. Let it be your anchor when the storms come. When fear and doubt creep in, remind yourself of His faithfulness and love. If this message has stirred something in you today, hope, courage, a fresh sense of purpose, I invite you to share it with someone who needs to hear it too. Sometimes, the best way to hold on to hope is to give it away. And finally, don't forget to stay connected. If you want more encouragement, inspiring stories, and practical steps to help you walk confidently through the unknown, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Your journey is unique, but you are not alone. Together, we can walk this path of faith, hope, and unstoppable trust in God's perfect plan. Remember, the best is yet to come. Keep pressing forward, keep trusting, and I'll see you in the next video.